So the point guard position is loaded in today's NBA, and it can be tough to pick out just 5 that stand above the rest. But I'm going to attempt to do it. This is my top 5 point guards. I will preface by saying I'm kind of leaning towards guys I'd rather have as opposed to who's going to have the highest rating in 2K. So just keep that in mind. But number 5, I have Mike Conley of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, of course, everybody wants to say Conley's underrated. And I think it's still true, because the thing with Conley is he might be the most balanced point guard in the NBA outside of Chris Paul, and his stats don't jump out at you. But I think the thing with Conley is, because he plays with the Grizzlies, who have a more slowed down offense, and their main prerogative is to get the ball to Zebo and Gasol, their offense isn't really meant for a point guard to have crazy stats. And Conley still averages about 16 and 6. But I think if he played on a different team, he might average 18 and 8 or something. And then at that point, nobody would be disputing Mike Conley. But the thing with Conley is, I remember him saying once, he has this clock in his head where he goes, oh, you know what, Zebo hasn't gotten the ball in 4 possessions. Let me give it to him for 3 straight plays. That's the type of point guard that I want on my team. Not to mention that Conley is one of the best defensive point guards in the NBA. Potentially the best defensive one outside of, like, Patrick Beverley, I guess. And you talk about his shooting and his toughness, his leadership. And Conley is the type of point guard that I'd love to have on my team, and I just think his stats are a little deflated because of the team he's on. So, yeah. Number 4, John Wall. I spoke on Mike Conley being a leader. John Wall's leadership has made leaps and bounds since his rookie season. And the second he walked into the league, he was already one of the top assist guys. But even then, I think his ability to run a team, make sure guys are in the right position, things like that he's gotten better at. Athletically, I mean, the only guy who touches him is Russell Westbrook in the NBA, at least at the point guard position. And I love John Wall, man. Also, a very good defender. Like I said with Conley, John Wall is one of the top defensive point guards in the NBA. Does he have to work on the three-point shot? Yes, he does. But weirdly enough, 2 seasons ago, he actually shot 35% from 3. So, if he could just carry that over to the rest of his career, I don't see anything stopping John Wall. I just wish the team around him was better. Now, you notice with Conley and John Wall, 2 things that I mentioned, leadership and defense. Well, those 2 qualities is what leaves Damian Lillard and Kyrie Irving out of my top 5. Let's start with Damian Lillard. He's terrible on defense. I've mentioned it before, I'll say it again. He's just a god-awful defender. He's a designated hitter. He's a one-way player. If he could just get his defense to go up, then I would gladly put him up here. But until then, it's not going to happen. Kyrie Irving, he's not as bad of a defender as Damian Lillard, but I still wouldn't call him a quality defender. But the thing with Kyrie is, you know that mental clock I talked about with Michael Conley? Kyrie doesn't have that. We're talking about the playmaking of John Wall. Kyrie does not have that either. Is he a fantastic scorer? Yes. Is he potentially the most talented point guard in the NBA? Maybe. But the thing with Kyrie Irving is, while I would love to have him play next to LeBron James, I do not want Kyrie Irving running my team. I would rather have Mike Conley or John Wall do that because of, like I mentioned before, leadership, defense, playmaking, all things that Kyrie Irving, I'm not saying he can't do, but he hasn't really shown flashes of in the NBA. Now, as for the top 3 point guards, this is when it got really tough for me, and the difference between these 3 guys is not much, and I think we're all going to agree on who the 3 guys are. It's a matter of the order they're in. Number 3, Chris Paul. More so than anything, it's just tough to crack the top 2 in today's NBA at the point guard position. Chris Paul, super efficient, great leader, very good playmaker, constantly averaging about 18 and 9. And he's just a great point guard. I can't really say much about him. Has he declined? Perhaps a little bit, maybe, but he's Chris Paul. Number 2, Steph Curry, the MVP. Probably the best offensive point guard in the NBA because the second the guy crosses half court, you have to defend him. And for all we know, Steph Curry may become one of the more revolutionary players of our generation. Because I guarantee in 10 years, we're gonna see a bunch of guys pulling up for 3, shooting 3s off of the dribble. That's gonna be a real thing because of Steph Curry. And he's probably going to go down as the best shooter in NBA history if he can keep it up. Like, let's just be honest. His defense has improved. It's not great. Let's be clear. But it's at least average. It's okay. It's not a liability. His playmaking has improved. And he's Steph Curry. What do you want? Number one, yes, guys, he's the best point guard in the NBA. It's Russell freaking Westbrook, okay? Athletic freak, fearless, very crazy. His ability to get triple doubles. I mean, there's nothing scarier in the NBA than Russell Westbrook with a head of steam. That's in the full court, the half court. A very good mid-range jump shooter. Does he take some bad shots? Yes, he does, okay? This is not a secret. Could his percentage be better? Yes, okay? No one is disputing that. But the positives that Russell Westbrook brings to your team, it's just too much, okay? Defensively, rebounding, just everything. The guy does everything, but you're gonna have to take some bad shots every now and then. But here's the thing. Now that Scott Brooks is gone, and Russell Westbrook is going to be coached by Billy Donovan, I think Donovan will be able to put Westbrook in proper positions to actually channel that aggression towards being more efficient. Because when you have a guy like Westbrook who just wants to win so badly that sometimes he's just going to flat out take a bad shot, and you pair that up with Scott Brooks, who's like the most unimaginative coach of the 21st century, you're going to get some bad shots. You're going to get some misses, and Westbrook's percentage is going to be a little down for it. If you have Donovan putting Westbrook in the proper positions, I guarantee Westbrook's percentages are going to go up a bit. So that's it. Top 5 point guards: Mike Conley, John Wall, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook. Let's play nice in the comments. And I'm done.